Welcome to Seizing Valor, where we discover God's path for manhood, one conversation at a time. I'm Joe.
I'm Zack.
And I'm Josh.
Hey, fellas.
We're here.
It's been
We're
a
back.
while. It's been a while.
I'm sure
been a
people
while.
thought we were done. After the quitting podcast, they thought we quit.
It was a metaphor.
It was. Don't do what we did. No, we wanted to test your faith in us to see if you'd be like, I'll stick around, even though they took a week off.
Fellas, we all look 10 years younger here.
Oh, I hope not. I don't want to be 19. That was such an awkward time. That was freshman year of college, man. You guys were like, what, 16, 17? You're still in high school.
Were we? Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Wanna go back to that?
juniors, seniors. Yeah.
Something like that.
No.
Yeah.
But Josh,
But-
you and I still have, Zach, you too. We all have like pretty much baby faces.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's the unfortunate fact of my life is apparently I look very similar to what I did in high school. I've had many a time where people thought I was much younger than I am.
Is there any temptation for any one of us to change up our look entirely? For example, Josh, I could see you with yellow hair.
With yellow hair.
Yeah.
And that's going to make him look older?
I've had desires to not dye my hair, but I've had desires to make changes. You know, I think because I'm like right now I'm growing my hair out a little bit. I don't
Right.
think it's gonna look good, but I'm probably gonna.
It's
Just
back to your
see what
first year of
happens.
college.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. I keep teasing Nicole that I'm gonna. This is the year of the man bun.
The year of the man bun. My brother-in-law, he has a man bun, and it actually
Yeah.
looks pretty good. But when he lets his hair down, he looks like Jesus essentially because he's got
Nice.
a pretty sizable beard and like his hair is like past his shoulders. But I will admit, we made fun of him for a while about it, but it does look pretty good now. And now he knows how to ponytail and braid his daughter's hair and his own. So,
Luscious locks.
but
Nice.
yeah, I don't know. I've tried to grow my hair out. My hair doesn't do the man bun thing. It gets very curly and it's like semi-fro-ish. So I don't, and I hate it because I hate it when like your hair is in your eyes and everything. I hate it. I don't like it. So
Yeah, I had
no,
a
probably
pretty,
no changes for me. I'm gonna have to think of something else.
Yeah, I had a silly moment today. I was home with the kids for the most part, and I had my hair down, and it was really bugging me because of how long it is. So I actually put it up in like a little ponytail. It was like up here, and my son went up to me
Still
and
top knot.
was like, "Dad, you look ridiculous." Eli did. He's like, "You look like Grace," and I was like, "Yeah." That's a proud
Well,
dad
that
move.
is my daughter, son. She's got half my chromosomes.
That's
We better look similar.
That's right. Yeah. Cool.
But-
Zach, we should
yeah.
all when we go to Long Island in the not too distant future, when we all meet up again, we should get perms.
Perms, dude. I don't need a perm. My hair already does that if I grow it out long enough.
I
I'm not even
would,
sure
I
if my
would
hair
get,
will be that long.
I would get a perm.
I didn't expect that one.
That'd be a shocker.
Yeah,
Well, we
I
all-
think
to
we
Lou
all-
lose
would
like
definitely make a
70
comment.
pounds. Yeah.
So I'm visualizing it now, and I'm like, I think in my head it looks funnier on Joe. I'm sorry, Joe, but like,
Nah, man, I look good in any style.
All right.
okay, let's test that theory.
Confident.
Confidence.
Some better than others, but others, like the mullet, is the ultimate Joe chick magnet.
What you should do is grow a
Why?
mullet and then just perm only the mullet and see.
Why
see
is
what
the
happens.
mullet back? The mullet is back. People are wearing mullets like crazy.
Business in the front, party in the back, my friend.
I don't understand.
That's just the way. Like, I don't know.
That's
Maybe
funny.
it's-
Like my whole life, I was told the mullets were like disgusting, and it was an awful phase. And then now I feel like everybody's got mullets. Have you noticed that? Have you guys noticed people have mullets?
No,
nowadays?
oh yeah, and like celebrities and stuff are doing the mullets. I know there's like one professional golfer, Cameron Champ, who like just won the British Open, and he's been rocking the mullet like all year, maybe even before that. I don't
Right.
know. I think it's one of those things people got bored during COVID. They're like,
Oh,
I'm gonna try to grow a mullet and see what happens, and then they're
Nice.
like, I'm too attached now. I just
Couldn't
can't
be.
get rid of it.
Yeah, and I also saw a bunch of people that I had never ever expected this to happen before with goatees.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
The goatee has got to go.
Well, and the mustache has been back too.
Oh,
I've
like
seen
the
a lot
only
of
the,
people
mu-
with
the only
mustaches.
mustache.
The only reason that is because of Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, well,
But they
yeah, that makes
well.
sense.
We're back in the 80s, gentlemen. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, the mullet with the stash. Well, I always
Mullet
blame
and-
everything on baseball because like a lot of the hair trends, like the baseball players will start it. Like for a while, it was they would shave like here,
Oh, just the sides.
the
Yeah.
sides, and then
Yeah.
I saw because when I was working in the middle school, like like all the sport kids had that haircut, so they would
Mhm.
just follow suit with whatever was happening in baseball.
Hmm.
And then now I think mullets are a thing. So
Have you guys ever watched like soccer, like professional soccer? Like,
A little bit.
well, they like, I don't know why in professional soccer, but they are so particular about their hair. Like, so much is about their hair. They all got the fancy, like the swooshes and like the perfectly manicured hair, or like the crazy looking hair of like all the styles. But the weird thing is, these are guys that are heading the ball and everything and hitting the ball with their head all the time. Their hair stays perfect the entire time. So I'm like, dude, what kind of gel are you using or product or whatever that you can just like with the ball, and then all the coif is still just perfect. Like
It's
the entire time.
it's that secret rich boy gel
Yeah,
they all have hairstylists.
they're just
in
or
the
it's like,
dugout.
I put my hair this way and then I intentionally head it that so it's got like a little platform to go off. I can't hit it over here or that wouldn't work, so I got to make sure I hit it over here because it's so hard. I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah, it gives them like a little more umph when they hit it because of
Yeah.
all the gel. Like,
Yeah,
it's just like a rock.
if you hit it too much on the point, it'll like pops.
Whoops. What's the rules on that?
Joe, you remember when our one diving teammate, Tom, did the spike, like the spike mullet?
Oh
Do you
yeah.
remember that? For dive,
Tom-
and then he would like put it up like every time before he dove, just put up in a big spike right before he do his
Yeah.
dives. That was so great.
Oh yeah.
That was so
Tom's
fun.
watched a couple of our episodes before. Feeling Grounded, I think it was. I'm not sure if it was Seizing Valor, but we love you, Tom. We missed that mohawk you did, that little pointy thingy.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
Hi, Tom. I don't know you.
But he knows your hair was amazing. So
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
so anyway, are we gonna maybe finally get into? I thought this was gonna be a long banter already because we took 2 weeks off and two of us went on vacation, but we're already at what, almost 10 minutes. We haven't even gotten into that part yet.
That's all right.
Hair. We care about hair. And then awkward silence.
Which I'll edit out.
We're not cutting that out. All that silence is staying in there.
The sound of silence.
It's obviously too late. We are way past our bedtimes here. All right.
I'm a little tipsy.
Hello, darkness, my old
My
friend.
old friend, I've come to talk to you again.
Let's do
Okay.
like the horrible Imagine cover that the celebrities did.
Above us only
let's-
sky.
let's do
It'd be
it.
really horrible because I don't remember all the words.
Let's do it, and it'll be the three of us, and we'll be the celebrities.
We are celebrities, man. In our hearts.
I'm not a part of this system, man.
And I threw it on the ground.
Oh,
Ooh,
Joe!
we're done
Last night we watched. So on our Nashville trip, we watched all of the Mission Impossible movies.
My
and,
man.
and last night we just watched the Fallout, which made me think of you because you
Yeah,
showed it
because
to
we
us.
watched it.
We
Yeah,
watched it
the
together.
best.
Absolutely phenomenal. I love Mission
Oh.
Impossible. I was so pumped by Tom Cruise running. It made me
Have
so.
you seen all
Tom
the
Cruise running
Impossibles?
everywhere.
Have you
so
seen all the Impossibles? Because I'm pretty
I-
sure it's impossible.
I thought I saw the first one. I thought I saw the first three, but after watching all of them again, I was like, I don't remember any of these. But the second one, I remember watching the second one. But for some reason, I never saw the first one.
It's a banger.
Yeah, I mean, I think they get better, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which normally that doesn't happen with sequels.
But like
Normally it's
MI2, I'd say that one is better than two. I actually just saw two for the first time.
two
and I was well, no, it's just different. My mom and
it's
I
like
watched
John
it.
Woo, right? So it's like
Yeah,
it's
like
martial arts,
all the
yeah,
doves like
yeah.
flying away. I
And all
was
there's so many of those fight scenes. It's just explosions. Like, I mean, Claire was laughing at all of the car
oh
bombs
yeah,
and
same
stuff.
with
Like,
me.
it's just like so funny. I was so
And
like campy.
when I was watching with my mom and dad, my mom was like,
Zach, you know what's
no,
going on, right?
remember at the very end of it, like it's the virus that basically like makes you have Ebola.
Mhm.
But
Isn't Ebola a virus?
when she yeah,
It's
but
like
when
Oh,
she
okay.
when she was like on her deathbed, like ready to like kill herself or something like that,
Right.
she's not bleeding at all.
That's true. No, she looked great.
I mean, she looked a little flushed, but even some Hollywood actors on their flush days, that's what we look like on our 100% days. So
Yeah.
it's just Thandie Newton is on a different level.
Right, that's true. So I guess I could talk about my Nashville trip if you'd like.
Yeah, since we're already on the
Since we're on
since we're already on that.
How was your
so
time
It's
away,
been a whole
Josh?
fortnight, everyone. Everybody
know.
buckle in because there's a lot to be done.
Yeah, so the first week I don't remember much. I just stayed home with the kids a lot and whatever. But then Nashville was phenomenal. So we left on Sunday morning, following Sunday, and then we came back Sunday yesterday, like midday. It took us. We did 2 days of traveling. So we drove Sunday. I drove like 9 hours on Sunday, and then we stayed in Virginia, which was nice. The trip was actually really nice. I didn't mind driving that much. I thought I would get kind of loopy and tired, and by the end I did, but it was good. The Nashville trip was great. We had barbecue. There's music everywhere. Absolutely loved it. Like, it was such a wonderful trip. If you've never been there, I would highly recommend going to Nashville. We did the Grand Ole Opry. We did all like the touristy stuff. So we went to the Johnny Cash Museum because I love Johnny Cash.
Of course.
And the Ryman Auditorium, and a lot of the food places. We visited a couple music venues, and it was wonderful. Really, really great trip.
And the driving was great.
Yeah, the driving was wonderful. Yeah, I mean, really, really great all around. Like, there was like zero traffic, only of course in New York, but outside of that, it was wonderful. Yeah, and then on the way back, we took two trips. We ate at Cracker Barrel like 3 times, and that was wonderful. Because we don't have Cracker Barrel where we are.
Yeah.
So to experience it in the South, like Tennessee Cracker Barrel.
Oh yeah.
I don't get the appeal. I'm not a Cracker Barrel guy.
Dude, come on. I'm going to testify right now. My family's from Arkansas. There have been at least 2 years that we had to do Thanksgiving dinner at Cracker Barrel.
Nice.
And it was amazing.
Yeah, Cracker Barrel is phenomenal. I mean, I'm pretty sure my blood is gravy, but it was very, very
heart attack on a plate.
Yeah.
They know how to use the lard.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good that we're talking about fitness this week because I'm going to need some help, y'all. But wonderful trip, really great. Like I said, so it was a good time. So who else would like to go?
And it was. You said it was just you and Claire too, right?
Yeah,
so
just the
no
missus,
kiddos. Okay.
No children. So it was a nice trip. Very nice. Yeah, with the kids, it would not have been nice, but
I was going to say, how did they survive the
if you ever
drive?
listen in the future, children.
I mean, I love you guys, but I can't do that length of time in the car
At your age. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But they would have had a blast. But I think it was nice that it was just the two of us.
They had their COVID vacation.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So they had their experience of going to another house that was not as nice as this house. But yeah. So it was for celebrating 5 years of marriage. So Claire and I this August will be married for 5 years. So that was
nice.
Like our trip. So every 5 years we're going to do a road trip. We decided. So
love it. Unless there's another pandemic.
Next stop, Alaska.
Alaska.
No,
well,
Josh,
we have to drive everywhere. That's the rule.
Josh,
I'm not flying.
you and Josh,
Hawaii.
we were gonna go to Alaska. Remember feeling grounded? If we get like a certain amount of that tailors into this, if we get the 1,000 subscribers, we're going to Alaska.
I thought it was Antarctica.
Oh, I think it was Antarctica.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh boy, now I'm roped into this too. I'll get
So
more parka.
I'll say if we get 10,000 subscribers, which who knows, I think we should do a trip and do a live stream somewhere. I don't know if it should be Antarctica, but it'd be fun to do.
I don't think all of
something
us
like
have that much money.
Oh yeah, yeah. It'd probably be quite the flight. Which I'm never gonna fly again. I've decided I'm horrified of flying.
No, yes, you are.
Yeah. So the problem was my first flight. I'm talking way too much. I'm sorry, guys. We can move
No,
on
you're
from here.
you're good. You're good.
So the first flight I ever took was to California, and it was the most. I didn't know because it was my first flight, but like it was so turbulent, and I don't know if that's like how normally flights are, but like it was 8 hours of turbulence, and the entire time I was just like having a panic attack because I was like, I'm sure I'm gonna die. We're all gonna die. Everything's gonna like. And so from then on, it's like I can't fly. It's like. But anyways, so Zach, how about you tell about your trip?
Oh, okay. So I also took a vacation. We went down to Virginia, a place called Smith Mountain Lake. So it's been a place that we've been going for, I've realized now, decades, which is crazy. Now that I've thought about it. So we went down. So we didn't go last year. Everyone was just doing things, and the year before that was when COVID happened. We still went that year because we had already paid for it and everything, but it literally rained all week, so it didn't even matter. We just stayed in the house literally the entire time, which was probably for the better with COVID. It was still nice to get out and be with family and stuff, but yeah. So this time it was myself, my parents, my sister, her husband, and then her 2 kids. So we all went down to Virginia. So it's kind of I think it's in Southern Virginia, but yeah. So same as Josh, we kind of left on Sunday, came back on Sunday. And it was overall really awesome. Maybe a little bit the opposite of Josh's vacation because it's like in a nice rural like lake setting, and like we didn't really do many touristy things. So we have friends that are pretty well off that let us borrow their house for a week. And so we stayed there. And overall it was a really good time. We did a lot of things on the lake, did a lot of swimming. This was like our first trip with like both the girls kind of being like old enough to be aware. They're not like babies that are just like, like pick them up, hold them around, like let them nap, and like that's pretty much all they do. But this time Diana's 4 and Jane is 2, so they're both kind of like very aware of and so it was like very much a vacation about them, which is not a bad thing. It's just like kind of the first time it's like when kids become part of the family, it's like the vacation's more catered towards them, which I thought at first some people, and including myself, might have been like, oh, that sounds like a drag, but actually it was really great. It like really gets your mind off of a lot of things. In my opinion, I was like stressing about a lot of stuff, but like having them and like focusing on them really helped me like de-stress. And it made us do stuff. Like sometimes you go on vacation as adults and you're like, oh, we should do something. No, let's just stay here, man. It's just doing nothing is great. But this is like, okay, we're doing things and we feel like we're going out, we're swimming, we're going on the boat, we're going to restaurants, we're doing all this stuff to like kind of keep them entertained. But it really kind of made us like really active. And I feel like at the end, me and my parents were both like, that was probably one of the best vacations we've had in a while. And I feel like I can come home saying like I did a lot of stuff, and that was pretty awesome. So yeah, like we swam a lot. We did some water sports. I'm a big water skier. I really like water skiing. Didn't get to do that much of that. We did a little bit of tubing with the girls, which was fun. We went like half speed. But it was fun because we just kind of rode on the back with them. And it's funny because like we're going like, it's like, oh, isn't this fun? And they're trying to have like a regular conversation like with me during this. We were talking about like birthdays or something like that, and I was trying to like, and I was like, yeah, look at that, isn't this great? Oh, it's bumpy. He's like, yeah, but back to birthdays, like let's talk about birthdays. It's like, oh, you're so adorable, Diana. Yeah, and then the boat was having some issues, so I was like really the only one who skied and stuff like that, which was probably good in the end. So we did take a day where we went to a local area. It's near like both Bedford, which is where we went, and then like Olivia and her family with the kids went to Roanoke. But when we went to Bedford, that's where like the National D-Day Memorial is, like a World War II D-Day Memorial, because of for some reason the Bedford boys. There was like a lot of people from Bedford who were in D-Day, and so kind of like a group of people like came together to make this monument like a thing. It is super impressive. I mean, it's definitely something I would want to talk more about in another podcast. Just like kind of the feeling of being there. And like what like D-Day like really like was how it was like at the same time it was like this great triumph of like people coming together towards a common cause and like really being like brave and self-sacrificing and just going for it. They talk about like the 3 virtues they talked about were sacrifice, fidelity, and then valor. So definitely something for another time. But also the fact that it's also kind of like a tragedy. Like anytime there's war, like war is a tragedy, and like so it's like both of those things at the same time. Definitely something to talk about. But it gave me goosebumps just even being there. It's obviously not Normandy, but it's still like, you know, the idea that this intricate memorial to like everyone that participated in D-Day, and there was just such artistry and everything. There was like this part where you kind of like stand like right in front of a plaque and you look out and it looks like you're coming out of like one of the landing boats, and then there's like statues of guys like kind of on the beach coming up, and there's like little like water bursts coming up and like making like gunshot noises, so it just like looks like you're about to like be in there, which is crazy. And like all these different memorials and everything, and like all the information to like figure out like all the stuff that went into this. So but yeah, won't go too much more in depth into that some later time. And we went thrifting, which I didn't realize I would like, and I ended up buying more than everyone else, which was nuts. But yeah, but like now I'm into like old typewriters now. That's like my thing. I was out with a friend at that one festival. I bought a typewriter. Now I bought another typewriter. I have a problem. All right. So then overall it was just, it was really great. And just good time spending with family and really relaxing. Glad it went, feeling good. And so now I'm here. So,
That's great.
Joseph,
was it crazy hot, Zach?
Oh yes. Oh, it was insanely hot. It was like the one time when we came out of church on Saturday, because it's always hotter when your car is sitting, and then it's also on asphalt. But like when we went into the car, it's at 112. 112 degrees. It was nuts. But luckily, once again, we were in the water. It encouraged us to really get in the water a lot, and it made the water warm. So that was
exactly. That's good. Yeah, it was crazy hot. It was that way too in Tennessee. It's probably very similar temperature. It was very hot. And
it's super humid. Like when we went to this D-Day memorial, I literally, my shirt, it might as well have been raining. That's how bad it felt. Not to disgust everybody listening. But anyway, enough about my sweaty adventures. Joseph, I hope you spent all of your week in the air conditioning.
Well, I've got the central air. However, it's been still gross because every time I've been leaving this apartment, I turn off the central air, just, save energy. And then I have huge windows, and it just makes it all the more torturous. That's the right word, torturous. My fans have been my saving grace that I always have on when I'm on the couch and in bed. But I'm able to cool down this apartment. It's disgusting. And it just finished storming outside right now, so I wasn't able to experience that tonight, but this afternoon I was, because we needed that cold front coming in, quote unquote cold front. Anyway, about my time, I'm not actually frozen.
He froze.
Yeah. Oh no,
no, I wasn't frozen.
Is it that cold? Is the AC on that much?
Yeah, I love Zoom meetings for this purpose, to fake people out. Anyway, I'm not going on vacation for another week, so I'll be actually next time we talk it'll be 2 weeks. But I was playing guitar a lot for church in preparation for that, which has been nothing short of amazing. But one thing that's been two things actually that's been wonderful. I went to amusement park Six Flags with chaperoning for the youth at my church. And I gotta tell you guys, I don't know if you've experienced this or been to an amusement park recently, but I just can't ride the rides like I used to, and that's just a product of getting older. And I actually looked this up. Apparently, when you're younger, you're getting used to, well, not used to, your body is getting a feel for like different things and is able to handle the unpredictability of motion. Whereas when you're older, you like the predictability and you get upset, your whole body gets upset with the unpredictability that you're putting on yourself, especially when it comes to spinny rides, which was a big mistake. I could have gone on like many, many rides had it not been for the spinny ones. So that's just me. I don't know if you've experienced that yourselves.
I've experienced this my entire life.
Yeah,
I've never really been able to do it. Yeah,
I hate rides. Yeah, it makes me so
I used to be able to do it like just hours upon hours, and it's really, really sad.
No, I get motion sick. Like, yeah.
It's like the same with me. With what I was talking about with airplanes. Like the very first roller coaster I ever went on was at Six Flags Darien Lake in upstate New York, and it was like the Man of Steel. And I was so sick, and I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, similar experience at place Knoebels around here, which is like the country's best free admission park or whatever, but it's next to my house. And did one too many, including the spinnies, and the spinnies killed me. And then I saw my lunch, and after that not really. I just really can't do it. I love water parks. Water parks are great. I love a good water park. That's for some reason different. I don't know why for my body, but literally I can't do amusement parks. So
water parks that's easy.
I don't think I've ever been to a water park.
Dude, we'll go to one in Antarctica.
Yeah, I'm sure.
With the
whole thing's a water park.
And the polar bears that actively try to kill you.
Penguins, we'll just like slide down on our stomachs.
Yeah, I love penguins. That's always a goal of mine. I want to like hang with penguins.
Yeah,
hang with the cool kids. As Morgan Freeman narrates my life as a imposter penguin. And you'll see the human masquerading as the penguin. He has not been noticed as not one of their own. Keep up the waddle, young human.
And then lastly, what did I do? I went bowling with basically the entire volunteers at my church. And I gotta say, I crushed every single person at laser tag except for 3 others, but they were all on my team. Yes. We murdered. And I
love how that pivoted, by the way, from like we went bowling and then I killed them at laser tag. I was expecting to be like I killed them at bowling, and I was like, oh, I didn't know Joe was a good bowler. And then
well,
like, laser
actually,
tag.
I think I played the best game of my life. I'm not that good. I think my best score ever had been previously was 135 or something like that. I went a 140. Wow. Yeah, I'm very proud of myself. I know the capability, the promise can be better, but I've never had a lesson, nor will I ever. Maybe never say never, but maybe we should all just Maybe we should all just join a bowling league in Antarctica.
There you go.
That's what bowling the penguin.
I have horrible form, but I do pretty good. I huck it as hard as I can. There's no spin. Like it's
right.
It's just like
straight down the middle, just like oh shit.
And that's how I would do it with Wii Sports too. I figured it out when we had Wii Sports way back when the bowling. There's a way to do it where it's just right down the middle straight, and then every time you get a strike.
I always did I always did it so that it gets all the way up to like where he's holding it above his head, and then I would just and just go. Because apparently, if you release it really late, it'll just go straight. But like if you release it really early, it'll curve. So I'm like, just got him up till he was like holding it, and he must have literally just been like.
Those Wii Sports jingles, man. Good
try that in real life.
Amazing how that's nostalgic.
I love when you throw it backwards and everyone's like,
oh
my gosh. I have like a remix of that song somewhere, and it's so fun. Not that I made, but like somebody else made.
You should. Change it slightly and we will add it to our podcast. But be careful. Nintendo hates it when people use their stuff.
They do.
Sorry, Nintendo.
Legal action.
We'll put it into a minor key.
There you go.
But- Ba, ba, ba.
I was just itching my eye. All right, cool. Are we? So that's it, Joe. You good?
Yeah, you killed it laser tag.
Yeah,
So
I
that's-
murdered everyone.
That sounds terrible. Just kidding. You guys remember when we used to play laser tag with Big House? Do you remember that?
That's fun.
Good times. I don't know how you guys play laser tag, but I always just constantly shoot. I just like keep pulling the trigger the whole time.
This is my strategy. I go to a corner and I wall sit the entire time. It's a good workout, but also and I'm between like a couple planks of wood, so I can just easily.
Yeah.
Usually you camp then. Huh?
Yep, I camp out.
I do the
And
constant
it's
shoot
been great
because like it shows where the laser goes. So I'm like, oh well, just like constant, just walk it down towards people.
Nice.
My accuracy scores are always like terrible, but I score lots of points.
I just remember I would like run everywhere. I think you weren't supposed to run, but I would like run all over the place.
Yeah,
that's like the one rule they don't want you to break.
Yeah,
and everyone, as
just,
soon
like,
as you
sprint
walk
everywhere.
in, it goes out the window.
Yeah.
Oh, it's their fault for laying on the ground.
Yeah. Don't climb on the stuff. Get out the stuff.
Yeah.
Make me.
Why'd you make it so climbable?
Everything's climbable. There's so many places to run. I'm panicked. All right, people are shooting laser guns at me.
Yeah. I could die.
Or just lose, and I don't like losing.
Love it. All right.
Speaking
So
of good
it's gonna
workouts
be
and competition.
A hard turn here.
Yeah.
Actually, no, not necessarily a hard
It's
turn.
not, yeah,
Well,
you could
Bowling's
connect
a
it.
sport.
laser tag
Running.
and bowling could be considered a workout of someone's choice.
Hey,
But
man, if you're
we're going to be
sweating.
talking about athletics and fitness and what it means in the grand scheme of things of your life and also your faith. And as Zack models like a Greek god that he is,
The juice bar.
the Hercules physique.
It's like, did anybody lose a beach ball? It's about this big.
When we all
way.
meet when we meet at the beach in about a month, we're all going to be wearing jeans, Top Gun style.
Jeans. Yeah.
No.
No,
We're all gonna
you're
be-
joking
we're
about
all
it
gonna have
now,
the
but I'm
shirtless
doing
football
it.
scene.
There you go.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna happen.
So some of the reasons I wanted to point out, I've got about 4 reasons why actually your fitness and your faith can be related to each other. First reason would be good stewardship. So your body is to be used to enjoy, obviously, your life. And this is a time in your life where we are 3 young guys, old guys at heart, but young, very youthful. But this obviously will not last forever. But as with anything else, God entrusts us with many, many things, with our money, our possessions, our time. And in this instance, we should be taking care of our bodies. Obviously, people may have medical conditions or disabilities. They can't control that, that limits the use of their bodies. But, recklessly, damaging or disabling your body through neglect or, abuse or something like that, we're not good stewards that way. So I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, as human beings, we are created as both a body and a soul. And I think a lot of people forget that. Some people think it's one or the other, or think that there's a lot of, certain faiths or philosophies that think that our body is somehow a prison or somehow not important as compared to our soul. But we are created in God's image and likeness, and that includes both our soul and our body. Our body is important. Our body is part of who we are. And Jesus himself took on human flesh, took on a body kind of asserts the fact that the body is important. God made the body important by having one almost. So anybody who thinks that your body's not important to your faith or your spirituality or just to your overall health, or that's not true. God gave you that body, and God expects you to use it well, to take care of it. Just kind of God gives us gifts and talents. God gave us the world, people in our lives, all this stuff that we have to take care of. Our body's one of them. It's a gift, and it's part of who we are. We'll get it back eventually when we die and we're at the end of days. We'll get our bodies back. our bodies and our souls will be united again and will be made perfect. But in the end, I think it's, once again, just recognizing the fact that the body is important, that the body is part of our spirituality, like the body is part of what God made us. And so it's really important to take care of it. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Josh?
No, you said it there. That's perfect.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got to establish like some type of exercise routine, even if it's for anybody listening, even if it's just moderate walking, essentially, like, you feel more prideful, like, if you do that, you do feel a sense of bliss afterwards. Another reason I have is it actually, for lack of a better way of saying it, helps you with learning self-control. All these better habits of physicality can help out in the spiritual realm as well. Self-discipline, with exercise and also eating can teach us principles that will help us become, more disciplined in Bible reading and also in prayer. Interestingly enough, challenges of exercises can help you to learn to, push through, persevere when encountering any type of spiritual difficulty. At least I found in my own case. If we deny ourselves, this one's very hard. If we deny ourselves like a lot of, because some unhealthy food is okay, but if we deny ourselves like excess, because gluttony is a sin, unhealthy food or the temptation to sleep in some instances, we're not making our body the master, is essentially what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and it's discipline. It's all discipline, and it's a good thing to grow, and the best way to grow in that field is to practice, right? And so pushing yourselves to accomplish these things makes it easier to do so.
Yeah, keep push and play, because it's all a matter of, like, you got to show up even in those moments when you don't feel like it, and that's where the true growth happens.
Yeah. But this, as you guys said, like, this idea of discipline, like, that even if you don't like exercising in general, like, doing it like can help you be disciplined in other areas of your life. I think it's like, I don't want to say it's the easiest form to be disciplined. For some people it is. I feel like sometimes for me it's the easiest way to discipline myself, because I feel like it's more visual, it's more active. I like have more of a goal, like it's and maybe it's just because I grew up as an athlete like my entire life, but like that, having regular exercise routines, being able to push yourself, do things when you don't want to do them. It builds character. It helps build virtue in a lot of ways. And kind of on that same vein, it helps us learn how to deal with suffering. So to speak. It's like dress rehearsal for like taking suffering, because like we're literally, when we exercise most of the time, we're intentionally taking on redemptive suffering in a way. Like we're intentionally taking on suffering that's good for us, not bad suffering. It's not like masochistic suffering or like whatever. It's like we're hurting ourselves on purpose or whatever. But it's like this idea as suffering for a cause or suffering for a greater good. And so like when we do that, it can help us in later times to be able to do the same thing. So like when we're able to deny ourselves and our own comfort for the sake of something greater. So like exercise does that a lot, like in order to get real benefits from exercise, like you do have to hurt a little bit. Like you do have to, whether it's like breathing heavy or like your muscles are sore or something like that, or even just giving up your time. Like this idea is that it teaches you how to suffer redemptively or beneficially and take that on. And even still, like I know when I was swimming sometimes when stuff was really hard, like I would be like, okay, even from a spiritual perspective, like, God, I'll offer this up, that classic, like I'll offer this up for whoever needs it. I will push myself hard for the sake, obviously for myself, because it's benefiting me, but like take some of the extra, and help somebody with it. So like, because we know that all suffering is redemptive in a way. So kind of on that same level of discipline, that idea that to be able to shoulder suffering.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in that same vein with this concept of self-control and how it is a practice, we can actually kind of trick our brains into kind of helping us out. Because if we, there's this quote that I heard a while ago that really stuck with me that said, you should act like your future self today, like now. Because what it does, like over time, it tricks your brain into like pushing you and pursuing you. So like if you want to be fit, or if you want to be a good spiritual person, if you want to pray, if you want to be good with, you should do it now. Do it now and act like that person would act now. Now, obviously, you're not going to be as strong, you're not going to be as whatever, but like push yourself, make it happen, and then eventually your brain is going to catch up, with your body, and it's going to help you and push you to pursue those goals. But you just got to do it. You got to get over that first hurdle, that first hump, that first hill, and then as soon as that happens, as soon as you're in the game, you're playing, and you're good to go. So for anyone who's struggling with that, I think that's a quote that really helped me, because I'm someone who, like, I grew up, I'm not athletic, but I would play sports.
Don't say that, Josh.
Like,
you're awesome. You're fit. You got this.
Yeah. Well, I loved exercising, so that was the thing that I always loved. But then as soon as kind of college left, as soon as I left college and then started having kids, it was like much harder to make it a regular routine, to the point where now it's like I'm trying to get myself back into the game. And so quotes like that really help, I think. And just remembering that, like, you can do it, and to trick the brain into doing things for you, is it can help. But yeah,
I mean, kind of what you were brushing at, I mean, that kind of brushes on the other point of that, how exercise and athletics can help one learn to be goal oriented. People will find, if you are exercising right now and you don't have a goal in mind, you're probably struggling, because that's like life. I mean, you need to have something, you need to have a goal of some sort. Even like in our general faith life, our goal is to get to heaven. So like, we live with that goal in mind. So when you're exercising, you need a goal in mind. Do you like, I want to be fit, I want to lose X amount of pounds, I want to be able to run a 5K. If you're playing like sports like pickleball or tennis, like, I want to be able to beat certain people or do well or hit certain shots,
especially if you join a league.
Yeah, like that type of thing. You got to have a goal in mind, and it doesn't necessarily always need to be like a fitness goal too. It can be just like, I want to meet people. So like, having goals in mind, like being goal oriented, is like a very important part for life, that I think sports and athletics teach or exercise and stuff, like, teaches really, really well. So if you're not somebody who exercises normally and you want to try to start exercising, you better start with a goal, because you're going to give up real fast if you don't. And just remember
that's
goal.
why you see so many people with New Year's resolutions. They don't really know what the end game is. They just want to.
They only know what the Infinity War is.
Another point that I had thought of was, it helps you actually stand, to be useful. And so, one, say that, especially for younger people, if they listen to this episode, what if you're drafted soon? What if the opportunity arises where you have to serve in a very demanding setting, or even something like construction or something like that, which is a very arduous profession, very physically challenging, even for the ones that I did not mention, all except, for your physical inability to endure those hardships. You better stay ready, even if, you're never needed, than to be needed, but not ready.
Yeah, I think this is a really great point, because it's something that I think we've kind of lost sight of, because we don't really have a lot of physically demanding, like taxing scenarios, but the majority of us, I would say, which is why we need exercise to begin with. You know what I mean? This is why we need to be active. Why we need, but yeah, it's like, now we're kind of in this culture where we're kind of getting a little soft, a little comfortable. And so we have to, like, remind ourselves why we're doing things. Because, nowadays it's like, I'm going to try to do this for the sake of health. But back in the day, it was like, well, I need to be strong enough to haul the, seed off of the trucks, or work on my farm and cut down trees and haul logs. And I need to be able to be strong enough to carry the weaponry for the war.
Or 10,000 years ago, I have to hunt the mastodon.
Yeah, exactly. And like, so now, we don't have that. So it's, well, thank God for some of those things, but that
I really do want to fight.
You don't want to hunt, though. Guys. We're going to Antarctica. We'll find some type of animal.
Yeah. But in the same token, I think that's important for us to remember, and to be prepared, and to care about ourselves enough, and to realize, like, we're strong. Like, we as men are strong, and women too, obviously. Like, we're so strong, and we need to, like, invest in that strength, and to remember like how good it is to be strong. Right. And sure, you may not need it right now. Maybe you're not lifting up things other than working out, but just do it, because you're made to be strong. Like, you have muscles, man. You got to take care of that stuff.
Yeah, I think on that point, I think it's something we should recognize too, as like in our culture, that the ability to exercise in sports it's a privilege, really. It's a leisure thing. It's a product of a society where this is our replacement for, working. Like when you used to be a farmer, like you weren't playing sports. Like the people who used to play sports,
like
yeah, the people who played sports were the rich. Like that's why, you started out with like golf and tennis and like football and all that. So everyone was an amateur because, you had enough money to be able to play sports all the time and stuff. Whereas like the working man didn't have that time. And it's a whole thing. It's a super interesting period of time, especially in England. But anyway, if you're a sports guy, watch The English Game if you're into soccer and you want to learn more about that. It's on Netflix. Anyway, but this idea is that it's kind of our replacement fitness, the way to be fit, and that it's important. Like it used to be, once again, part of our job, but now we have to be more disciplined in doing it. But even when it comes to like being healthy for the sake of being prepared, like, yeah, maybe we'll be called to battle one day, or maybe you'll have to do something physically demanding. But even just being healthy for the sake of like your family, if you're a dad, like you want to be around for as long as possible for your kids. Like you want to be able to be there for them. You want to be able to be
fit. That's my last point. Exactly. It's a form of loving others by taking care of yourself. Your body is this instrument to serve and love others.
Yeah. And you want to be able to do things with your kids. Like it's like you don't want to say like, because I'm so unhealthy, I can't do this thing. Like, or like that type of thing. It's like you want to be at your healthiest for the people around you, so that like you can do that service to them, to be there for them, to be around them, or even your job. Like your job could be like, hey, if you're like a school teacher or something, you should be fit to like demonstrate to your students that that's important, or be around to keep teaching them, and like that type of thing. So like we owe it to other people to be healthy in a sense.
Go ahead.
And I can say just as a dad, is like that's really important to me, and I can say that's true. That motivation is definitely there, and so because it is really important that you want not only to live long for your kids, but to set a good example for them as well. And I struggle in that department, definitely. Like I want my kids to see me eating well and to exercising and all that stuff, and I'm not perfect at that, but like I'm trying to make that a priority in my life to ensure that they understand the importance of it as well, and how we should be good stewards and have self-control and all that goodness. So
hot take a little bit, with that idea of loving yourself so that you're able to be around for your family. It's actually a form of love to take care of that body so that you don't hinder your family, so they don't have to be taking care of you. I mean, obviously in the twilight years, that might have to be a different story, or even, if you undergo a stroke or accident or dementia, because that happens even like to physically fit younger people. But, loving your family and your church by doing your best to be healthy and eventually an active senior citizen, goes a long way.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, I have a quote here I just wanted to read and to take your thoughts on it. So now this is from Socrates. Okay.
Ooh, Socrates.
Socrates, yeah. And it's solid. So he had a student of his who like had a friend, and he was with his student and went to this friend and saw this friend was like really soft and was not taking care of himself, was kind of chubby and whatever. And then he like did this long response on how you should not be this way. But there's this line in it that I love. And it's this. So this is Socrates talking, not me. It is a disgrace to grow old through sheer carelessness before seeing what manner of man you may become by developing your bodily strength and beauty to their highest limit. And I like that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Because it's carelessness.
Yeah. And for everybody listening, like your potential or your peak for your body doesn't necessarily, not everyone has to like look like Arnold,
right?
Or like not everyone has to run a marathon. Like that's not necessarily what we want to say. It's like you want to be able to reach your peak for what your manner of life,
Best self. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And to close it out, no matter how.
I want to make.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
I kind of wanted to transition this a little bit from like exercise to sports a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
So like this idea that exercise, yes, is important. Exercise and fitness is good. And you can get that through sports. And like the idea of the physicality of your body and taking care of your body, all great, and all these stuff you can do by yourself, by the way. But I think sports offers a little bit extra in that regard. Some people might look at sports and think that sports are trivial or sports aren't important. Even people of faith could think like sports don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Like it's not important. Like you're wasting your time. You're not devoting time to God. Like that type of thing. Some people get in that mind space. But first of all, Pope John Paul II wrote a letter about sports to athletes that really touches on some really good points about like how sports are important. He was an active pope, by the way. He skied all the way until he couldn't. Loved soccer and all that stuff. But this idea, I think that sports teaches us a lot of life lessons. Like I think I love sports because sports are like a microcosm of life.
Oh yeah.
Like even outside of the fitness. And like, I'm going to mention just a handful of reasons or handful of lessons that I think one can learn from sports, or important things you can get from sports. The number one, which I think is really important, is community. Like the importance of community, like being on a team or working with other people, working in cooperation with other people, being able to communicate with other people, being able to work towards a common goal with other people. I think that is super important. And I think that's one of the best things that sports teaches people is how to work together. Now, obviously there's some individual sports out there, swimming, one of them, like, or running or something. But in certain atmospheres, like Joe and I know, like in college, like you still work together towards a common goal. Like, the team scores points and like all that stuff. But then it even goes more in depth in sports like soccer, basketball, or football, where you have to be coordinated, like between all, you have to communicate and coordinate and work together in order to accomplish something great. And like that kind of solidifies bonds, like with people, that like brings you closer together. And that's something we need in regular life. That's something we need in our faith life. That's the whole reason we go to church. Well, no, that's not the whole reason we go to church. Sorry. For anybody listening, that's not the whole reason we go to church. We go to church to worship, to praise and worship God, and for us Catholics to receive the real presence of Jesus. What was that?
Is a motorcycle drove by my house.
Oh, okay. But one of the reasons that we go to church is to have community with others, to like, God made us to be with other people and to work with other people. And so that can also even help in relationships in life, learning how to work together, to compromise. People who learn how to be good teammates can learn how to be good friends, be good spouses, that type of thing. So I think that's one. Any thoughts on that before I
Yeah, I agree 100%. So I'm someone that's not really big into sports. I've never really been a passionate person when it comes to sports. I don't watch it. I don't really in that world. But the time that I spent playing football, so I played football for 7 years, I think. Like that was completely life-changing because of the community, because of the hard work, because of the sport itself, but then just the brotherhood was unlike anything else. Like I learned so much from just being with a group of guys in the trenches there, playing football, like over something that a lot of people could argue is a silly sport, but it's just it was life-changing, to be in that community and to foster a brotherhood, was cool. So yeah.
And it's how you meet people. It's how you meet a lot of friends. Joe, I mean, literally, we are friends because of a sport.
Yes.
So, like, that's another important thing. And even when you get older and as an adult, like I'm finding now, like, I play sports not as much so I can like win or be the best. Maybe that was a little the reason in college and in high school. But like now it's like I need a way to meet people. So I go out and I play pickleball because I meet people. Like that's
and you expand your horizons with the new sports that you pick up.
Exactly. That's another thing. It teaches us how to learn. It teaches us how to learn skills and apply them. It teaches us how to think differently. Like it teaches us how to see from a broader perspective, how like cause and effect. Like it helps us to see how things interact and how people interact. It causes us to, be able to think differently as an athlete. I mean, we've already talked also about like motivation, goal setting, all that type of stuff. But like this idea is it helps our brain think in different ways, think strategically. So I think that's a benefit. It teaches us preparedness, or learning how to, like we talked about, taking care of your body, but like sports help motivate you to take care of your body in other ways, like eat healthy, drink, like hydrate, sleep enough so that you can perform well. Like you want to perform well, but that's good, healthy habits to have in everyday life. So it, teaches you to have that preparedness. So that's another one. Any thoughts about that? I have one more after that, but you guys have any thoughts on that? No.
No, it's
No?
pretty
Take
clear.
it.
Yeah.
Take it.
Okay. And so this one is one I feel like I've learned a lot more recently after college, but I think it's really important, one that people might not understand at first, that that's a lesson. But I think sports can teach you that you can do everything in your power and prepare in every single way and do everything you are supposed to do for something to go right, and it doesn't.
Still lose.
Like
yeah.
you can lose. Or
Mhm.
even like in golf, for example, like bad luck happens. You line up the shot perfectly, you hit it in the perfect spot, you make the best contact, you had the best swing of your life. All of a sudden, a gust of wind comes out of
Wind,
nowhere,
yep.
blows your ball into the pond. Like bad luck happens in life, and I won't even call it bad luck, but that's the idea, is that sometimes you can't control life, and sometimes life just happens.
Yeah.
And that it's not your fault. It's one thing to lose and things to go wrong because you did a bad job, like you didn't put effort in or anything like that, but it's another thing sometimes to feel like I did everything I could and it still ended up bad. That there
But
are
I'm
things in
so
life.
proud of myself. Yes.
Yeah. And it's easy sometimes for us in like sports like swimming, Joe, where it's like, oh, I did everything I could and I got out of the pool and I can barely stand up, so I know I gave everything I had. But in other sports, that's not so easy. Like I know, like in tennis, for example, it's like I never had as good a gauge to know. It's like, did I really give it everything I had? And like, or I hit like the perfect shot. That's like the hardest shot I've ever hit. And the guy just manages just to land a racket on it, luckily, and it drops over the net and I lost the point. Like that, it's a hard lesson to learn that there are things outside of your control in life, and that that shouldn't stop you from playing, and B, you got to move on, and you got to be able to forget the bad things in the past, and you got to not think too much about the future, good or bad, and just kind of stay in the moment.
Mm.
Yeah, and so I guess that's a twofold point. The one, that there's stuff in life you just can't control, and sometimes life happens,
Mhm.
and you just got to be able to deal with that. And then number two, I just forgot what was the thing I just said right before that. I totally forgot. But anyway, yeah. So life happens. Yeah. So you just gotta be ready for that.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great reflection on that, Zach. That's really cool. Love that.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
All right,
folks.
gents. This was a
All
great
right.
chat.
So as a closing out, for anybody listening, no matter how well you have done up to this point or how well you haven't done up to this point, it's not too late to make a change, physically or further than that. So ask yourself right now, what's hindering you from making that change today? And I'll leave it at that. So what we would like you all to do right now is, if you have any questions or comments or prayer intentions, email us at seizingvalor. If you have, I'll rewind. If you guys have any questions or comments or prayer intentions, please email us at seizingvalor@gmail.com. Please invite other people. Share this podcast with others who you think it might help. This episode definitely will help a lot of people, especially if they're not feeling like where they're at physically. And any type of medium that you are interested in, whether it be Spotify or YouTube, we're on either or. Also follow us on Instagram at Seizing Valor. Please encourage other people to find us on these social platforms. Anything else, fellas?
Stay in the moment. That's the thing I wanted to say before. Stay in the moment. That's the other lesson. Live in the moment. Live in the present.
Yeah.
Anyway, nope. I think that's all I got. So for anybody out there, get active. Make your interact with your body. Stay healthy. Just take the first step. Get a goal in mind. And if you want to meet people, go find just a recreational sport of some kind. Don't be afraid if you're good or bad. Just go out and meet people. There you go.
Yeah, act like your future self and care about your body.
Yes. Amen.
Cool.
Prayer
So
intentions? Prayer?
Who's praying?
Oh, I'll do it.
Great.
Okay. Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Lord Jesus Christ, you are awesome and amazing. You are the epitome of what it means to be human. And in that, you had both a soul and a divine nature, as well as a body and a physical nature. And you made us in your image and likeness. Thank you for the bodies and the souls that you have given us, particularly today, the bodies. Help us to understand that it is part of us. It is 100% as much a part of us as everything else. And that it is a gift. And it is a gift that we are called to take care of for you, for ourselves, and for others. Help us to, once again, be good stewards of our bodies in whatever way that is, whether it be the highest caliber athlete or just the guy who takes or girl who takes walks every day just to stay active, but help us to be able to grow in love for you, grow in love for each other, and even grow in love for ourselves, the healthy self-love through sports and through physical activity. And just help us to praise you through what we do with the bodies that you gave us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you all for attending, and we'll see you next week.
Go for a run tomorrow morning. Just kidding.
I'm doing it.